Hi everyone, welcome back to another Autumblings. I'm Miss Wendy, and as promised today we have squirrel stories. So you will need your flannel board and your scarf. So if you need to pause this and go get your scarf, that's good, and then come back and turn it back on. I want to welcome Grace and Jacob to our story time this week, and Marcella and Valentina and Corbin and Justice. And we'll have our other friends join us as well today. So get your scarf out and we're going to start our song. Let's see. Here we go. Ready?
Shake your scarves.
Scarves up, scarves down. Shake your scarves all around. Scarves up, scarves down. Shake your scarves all around. Scarves in, scarves out. Shake your scarves all about. Scarves in, scarves out. Shake your scarves all about. Right knee, find your knees. Left knee, shake your scarves fancy free. Right knee, left knee, shake your scarves fancy free. Right hand, left hand, shake your scarves with the band. Right hand, left hand, shake your scarves with the band. On your back, on your tummy, shake your scarves nice and funny. On your back, on your tummy, shake your scarves nice and funny. Scarves up, scarves down, put your scarves on the ground. Ready to clap? Very good, everybody. So you can just put your scarf to the side and we'll do a scarf song at the end again. So our first story today is Squirrel's Full Search by Anita Lowry. And as you know, squirrels are looking for their acorns right now, or peanuts, or things that they've hidden over the spring and summer. Squirrel and his little brother were busy collecting pine cones, berries, and nuts. Fall had arrived and food was everywhere. Juicy blackberries speckled the thorny brambles. Corn was being harvested in the cornfield. There you go. Squirrel's little brother picked up one of Squirrel's nuts. "I bet you can't catch me," he laughed. And then he ran away. They chased each other around in circles. Colorful leaves swirled all around and made Squirrel dizzy. Squirrel chased his little brother into the woods, but soon he realized he could not see his little brother or his food anywhere. Squirrel hoped his little brother wasn't taking any more of his nuts. Mouse scampered out of the leaves carrying a sycamore seed. Squirrel started to feel hungry. Squirrel had enjoyed chasing his brother so much they had forgotten where he put his food. "Have you seen my food?" Squirrel asked Mouse. "Have you looked in the meadow?" asked Mouse. Squirrel searched the long grass in the meadow. He tutted and scratched his head. "I'm sure my food was around here somewhere," he said. Rabbit poked his head out of his warren to see what was going on. "Have you seen my food anywhere?" asked Squirrel. "Have you looked by the pond?" suggested Rabbit. Squirrel searched through the reeds by the pond. Leaves were floating on the surface of the water. Squirrel sniffed the air and tutted. "I'm sure I buried my food around here somewhere," he said. Owl was watching Squirrel from above. "Isn't that your little brother over there by the old apple tree?" she asked. "It looks like he's got some tasty food to eat," said Owl. Squirrel ran as fast as he could to the apple tree. Yes. Squirrel's little brother was so surprised that he dropped the nut he was holding. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was just so hungry." "Did you know," said Squirrel, "that food tastes even better if you share it?" They smiled at each other and ate their tasty food together. It was a nice story about some brothers. So if you're ready for your flannel board, you need to get your flannel board out. And this week it might be a little tricky because we have acorns to put on our flannel board as well. So this little flannel board is Gray Squirrel, and it was actually adapted from a song. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. Are you ready? Gray Squirrel, Gray Squirrel. Uh-oh, my squirrels are falling on the floor. Shake your bushy tail. Gray Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Wrinkle up your little nose. Put an acorn under your toes. Can you get that acorn on there? Gray Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. See what's next. Brown Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Brown Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Wrinkle up your little nose. Put an acorn under your toes. I think these are toes up on top or fingers. Brown Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. What do you think is next? Let's see. Black Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Black Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Wrinkle up your little nose. Can you wrinkle your nose? Put an acorn under your toes. Black Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. So that leaves us with Red Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Red Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. Wrinkle up your little nose. Put an acorn under your toes. Red Squirrel, shake your bushy tail. There you have all your squirrels, and you gave them their acorns. So our next story is One More Acorn, but this is by Dawn Freeman. So some of you might know the Corduroy books, also written by Dawn Freeman. Let's see what this little squirrel gets up to. Early one morning in the city of Washington, D.C., a lively gray squirrel named Earl looked out of his treehouse door and blinked his eyes. Winter would soon be here, and Earl knew it was time to go find the acorns he had stored away last summer. Earl scampered out of his treehouse. Let's hope he remembers. The grass in Lafayette Square was nearly covered with light layer of leaves. By now the sun had risen, and all the other squirrels were scurrying around to find their hidden acorns. Earl sniffed and scratched and dug until suddenly his tail began to twitch and twirl. He had found his first acorn of the day. He turned the acorn around and around, then he packed it into his cheek. Soon he is ready to search for more tasty treasures. Within a short while, he had found 3 more acorns. Earl's cheeks were full. It was time to bring his acorns home. Away he raced to his tree house. Did you ever see that? The squirrels stuffing their cheeks. Now you see why Earl needed to hurry. He had a hungry, furry family to feed. "Thank you, Papa," said his older son, Hickory. "Thank you, Papa," said his younger son, Filbert. "Ch-ch-ch," said his baby daughter, Hazel, who was too little to talk. "Well done, my dear," said their mother. Pages are sticking together. Down the tree Earl climbed again to search for more acorns. Then all at once he sat up on his haunches and looked around. He thought to himself, "I wonder now, where did I hide that great big acorn last summer?" Earl ran over to the edge of the sidewalk. This was the right direction, wasn't it? Then he remembered he had hidden the big acorn on the other side of this wide avenue. Today the street was filled with cars and trucks and people riding bicycles. Could Earl make it across safely? He looked left, he looked right, and then he looked left again. His tail twitched and twirled. Across the avenue he dashed like a furry flash. Once on the other side, Earl hesitated. People were unfurling colorful flags and tying them to the lampposts. Even a squirrel could tell that a very special celebration was happening that day. But Earl had important things to do. He had a hungry, furry family to feed, and without waiting, he ran through an open gate, which is something not every visitor can do, you may be certain. Earl bounded straight toward the Washington Monument. The area around the monument was very crowded. What are all these people doing, Earl wondered. Are they looking for acorns too? Earl searched and searched, dodging men in big work boots and women in shiny, sharp shoes. But nowhere in all this space could he find a trace of his old tracks or the scent of an acorn. While he was busily sniffing, he heard the gleeful voices of boys and girls. Wherever there were children, Earl knew something good was bound to happen. Come along now, boys and girls, finish up. It's time to get ready, their teacher said. The children were all bent over, digging in the ground. Maybe they are looking for acorns too, thought Earl. Then one of the children did find an acorn. Earl's acorn. It was just the one he'd been searching for. Before the boy could pick it up, Earl raced over. His tail twitched and twirled. Do you want this acorn? Asked the boy. That's okay. You can have it. Well, I'm glad to hear it, thought Earl, since it was my acorn to begin with. And then Earl heard a shrill voice. When teachers really mean it, they can get loud. Hurry along. We are leaving right now. Good luck, the boy said to Earl. I have to go. Maybe we will see each other again one day. Then off he ran to join the rest of his class. Earl bounded out through the gate and ran until he came to the big street. But look, the avenue was full of people and floats. It was a parade. I will never get across now, he thought. Earl climbed a tree to see how long the parade was, and then he scampered along a branch overlooking the street. Oh no, it goes on forever, Earl thought. But just then, he saw someone who looked familiar. Now Earl knew just what to do. It's pretty clever. Using their heads as a springboard. After a short rest to catch his breath, Earl bounded home to his family. He took the big acorn out of his mouth and said, Look what I brought back for you. Thank you, Papa, said his older son, Hickory. Thank you, Papa, said his younger son, Filbert. Ch-ch-ch, said his baby daughter, Hazel, who was too little to talk. Well done, my dear, said their mother. Looks like they're going to have a tasty feast for their dinner. In your bag this week, there are two, again, Squirrel Art Projects. So one looks like this. If you have scissors and Mom and Dad let you cut it out, go ahead, you can cut out your tail and then glue it on. You should have glue already from your previous projects. And then there's another squirrel. You also have a bag with some brown paint, a paintbrush, coffee grounds, and some leaves. So I painted both of my squirrels brown. You don't have to paint them if you don't want to. And then on the bigger one, after it was dry, I put some glue, and that's where the coffee grounds went on mine. And the little one, I glued the leaves onto his tail. You don't have to do it this way. You do it whatever way you want. You could put leaves on this one. You don't even have to use coffee grounds, or you can mix them up a little bit and add them to both. It's entirely up to you because it's your project. We have time for one more story. And this book is called Nutley, the Nut-Free Squirrel. It's about a squirrel with nut allergies, and it's written by Stephanie Sorkin. And I chose this because I know a lot of children with nut allergies, tree nuts, peanuts. My niece Andrea has allergies. So let's learn a little bit more and see what happens to this squirrel. Hello, my name is Nutley. I know this may sound strange, but I'm a nut-free squirrel. I guess I should explain. See, one day I was feeling starved. My belly growled so. I reached for what a squirrel eats. At the time, I did not know that nuts were not okay for me to eat like most squirrels do. My eyes puffed up, some hives popped out. An allergy, it's true. After all the itching stopped, I knew I'd need a plan so that this would not happen again and again and again. So I called a meeting in a tree for my pals from far and near. They all showed up to find out how to help a friend so dear. Surprising as it is to all, since I do live in a tree, I must avoid peanuts and tree nuts to keep myself healthy. My doctor said to play it safe, avoidance is best. And once a year, or sometimes twice, I'll have to take a test. A squirrel allergic to nuts? How odd. I thought I'd feel alone, till one of my friends stood up and declared, I'm a dog, allergic to bones. I know just how you feel, said the fly, a little voice so cute. I have a similar problem, only mine's with pitted fruit. My problem, said the bee, are the trees that bloom. The pollen makes me sneeze. I rub my wings and scratch my back after even the slightest breeze. I hope you all can hear me, said the pelican. My voice is very low. I cannot eat the fish that swim in the water down below. Wow, I can't believe my ears, shouted Nutley. Some others have allergies too. We'll have to keep each other safe like buddies always do. We went around the group real slow and spoke one at a time. We all talked about our favorite treats. Gummy bears are mine. I have to say chocolate's mine. Now my friends bring nut-free sweets. They really do not mind. I know they love me more and more because I'm one of a kind. Now in this book, at the back, there is a recipe that Miss Wendy is never, ever going to make. Not that it's because it's nut-free, because I don't do nuts really, but it's nut-free banana bread. Any of you who know me know I do not eat bananas. I don't like the smell of them, the taste of them. It's just not my thing. However, some of you do enjoy bananas and you could try out that recipe. In your packet this week, there is some recipes that you can try. Now, squirrels eat nuts, acorns. We don't eat acorns, but there is a thing called Acorn Squash. So there's some recipes here for Acorn Squash. And I did try the one with brown sugar and butter that you cook in the oven. And again, anyone who knows me knows I'm not really a vegetable person, but this was yummy. So give it a try. And on the other side, there's some cheesy Parmesan Acorn Squash. I have not tried that one, but I will. And again, there's a list of books that you can find at the library. Okay? Thanks for joining me this week. Next week is our last week for a while. And next week, our stories are about, what do you think these are? Besides being salt and pepper shakers. Turkeys. So we'll have turkey stories next week. And again, it was great for everybody to join me. And if you get out your scarf, we're going to have our scarf song, our next scarf song. Let's put the music back on. and get that ready. And Dean, I have to say, Grandma showed me a video of you doing the scarf song. It was excellent. I love it. Everyone keep doing that. And you also mentioned there was no Corky. I know he's been sleeping lately, so that's just the way he's going. Maybe the cooler weather's making him a little sleepier.
Scarves up and down and
so
around.
If you're ready, we'll get our scarf. You ready?
The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Release them up in the air. Ready? Watch them float to the ground. Release them up in the air. Watch them float to the ground. Sing it. Up and down and around. Up and down and around. Up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Release them up in the air. Watch them float to the ground. Release them up in the air. Watch them float to the ground. Up and down and around. Up and down and around. Up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Very nice, everybody. So until I see you next week, take care, be safe. Hopefully you can go outside and enjoy the sunshine and get some more play days out in the good weather. Look for those squirrels, but don't touch them, okay? Take care, be safe, and until next week, bye-bye.